Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti. I am MrPhotographer.com. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you could move a single slider in Lightroom so you could make an image that looks like this, look like this. I want to apologize in advance because this technique that I'm going to demonstrate in this video, the technique that I like to call single slider photo pop, I've actually done at least 2 videos in the past on. So many of you probably already know this technique. But the reason why I'm doing another video on it is twofold. First of all, I have a lot of new viewers to my channel. Every day I'm gaining new viewers, and I have almost 1,000 videos on YouTube. The chances of any of those new viewers stumbling across one of those old videos is slim, so I thought it would be worth it to do another video on the technique. The second reason is I'm going to add a little twist to it, and I'm going to explain a little more in depth about it. So those of you that know the technique from one of my older videos, hopefully you'll gain something from this video as well. In this video, I'm also going to show a number of different images. In the description below the video, I'm going to have all the gear info, camera settings info, and exposure info for each of the images. So if you're wondering what camera or lens I used and what f-stop I used and all that stuff, it'll be listed below. Now, I mentioned I call this single slider photo pop because really, you just move a single slider and it really will add a lot of pop to your image. I want to explain just a little bit more about it. First of all, most of you probably have stumbled around over here on the right-hand panel and you've went to this HSL color tab and you know that there's 8 different colors listed there and you could affect the hue, saturation, and or luminance value of each of those 8 colors. For example, if I take the saturation of blue and move it to the right, you'll see just mainly the blue sky is being affected. So this blue slider mainly affects anything that has really a saturated blue color in it. And you can see a little bit of the water has a little bit of blue down here, so that's being affected as well. So these sliders here really just affect those colors. If you've ever gone down to the calibration tab, you've probably noticed that there's red, green, and blue listed there, and there's hue and saturation sliders listed for each of those. The difference between, let's say, the saturation slider in the blue primary of the calibration tab to the saturation of blue in the HSL tab is that this affects the mix of blue, meaning you have the 3 primary colors, red, green, and blue, but all the other colors in the image have a combination or a mix of these primary colors to create that color. So brown is going to have a mix of red, green, and blue in it to create that shade of brown and that color brown. When you move one of these sliders, you're affecting not only the saturated, let's say, blue, you're affecting the mix of blue throughout the image. So the technique that I've demonstrated in the past that I've called single slider photo pop consists of just going down to the saturation of the blue primary and moving it all the way to the right. And when you do that, you'll see it just makes your image pop. So there's before and there's after. There's before and there's after. And you can see how it not only affects the blue sky, it's affecting the trees, it's affecting, the brown of the stream bed and everything. It's affecting everything. So that is what I often called single slider photo pop. And you could just experiment. I mean, you don't have to move it to +100. You could move it just a little bit. Every image is different. Also, the other color primaries will affect your image also. And you could experiment with these. So you could just come to saturation of the red primary and move that to the right and see how that might affect your image. Maybe you'll like that better. Go to the green primary, move that to the right and see what that does. Maybe you'll like that better. Change the hues of each of the 3 colors. See what you come up with. But generally speaking, what I found and what most photographers that are aware of this technique, they really like the blue primary and they tend to move it somewhere between 50 and 100 on a lot of their images. Now, it doesn't just work for landscape images like this. It will work for other images, but you might run into a problem now and then. And we'll go to this image. This image has a lot of blue in it. So if I come in and I move the saturation of this blue slider to the right, it really did a nice job enhancing the grass and the trees and even the rock, I guess. But it's making the sky a little bit too blue. Now you can come in and try one of the other sliders, try red and see what that does. And try green, see what that does. Now green to me is making the grass too kind of radioactive green and yellow. So I don't care for that one. But I kind of liked what this did to everything but the blue sky. So what you could do is, since it's like overbearing on blue, but you like what it did, let's say, with the grass and the trees, just go up to the HSL panel, go to the saturation of blue up here, and pull it down. Just pull saturation down. You could then, go to luminance as well and maybe make that a little brighter. So you can make the sky look more natural, is what I'm trying to say. And you could still keep the effects, since these sliders up in the HSL tab are only affecting blue in this case, not affecting the greens or the browns or the yellows or anything like that. Then you're pretty much good to go. Now, the technique also works great when people are in the image. And really, this is kind of a wedding photographer's secret, this little slider. And that's where I got it from, by the way, from a local wedding photographer. Years ago, she told me the technique, and she didn't invent it either. And she couldn't remember where she got it from. She got it from an article or something on the internet. But it's a very, so it's been out there a while, and I didn't invent it. I don't want you to think that I invented it. So we'll go to the calibration tab. We'll go to the blue saturation of the primary, and there. So there's before, and there's after. You can see how it just really, I think, makes this image pop. Now, it doesn't adversely affect skin tones either. Multicultural images, anything, any skin tone, it really doesn't adversely affect. So you can move that to the right. And you can see it just kind of gives more warmth, in my opinion, to the image in this case, and didn't really affect anything too heavily. Now, if you see something like, a lot of times too with people in it though, they'll be wearing blue jeans, or maybe they'll have a blue sweatshirt or something on. And if you move that blue slider to the right, it's going to make the blue jeans too blue and the blue sweatshirt too blue. So you may have to then, in those cases, go up to the HSL tab and affect that as well. And again, I encourage you, experiment with the other tabs as well. It doesn't mean, just because you move the blue, doesn't mean you can't move green on top of blue or red on top of blue. And since I'm talking so much about saturation, it doesn't mean that you can't mess with the hue as well, just to see if it comes up with something that you like. If you find that you're often doing the same thing, like you always move blue saturation to 75 and hue to plus 22, you're doing that all the time. Maybe you're moving a little bit of red too. Make a preset that does it, and then it will automatically do it. And that could be kind of your style. That's kind of your signature style that makes your images look a little bit different than anyone else's. Furthermore, when you do have people in it with paler skin, what I found is to give them just a little bit of a tan. Go up to the red primary, the saturation of that, and move that to the right a little bit. And you'll just kind of give them a more healthy look, I guess, for lack of a better term, to their skin. There's before and there's after. Now, you don't want to go too far, all right, because, that's just not right. So just go a little bit, but I found that works a lot. So there's a little twist on this that hopefully those of you that have seen the previous two videos I've done on this will maybe be something a little different to help you better process your images in a way that's unique to you. So that's it for this. I hope this really does help you, come up with something that's really unique to you and helps your images pop. I'd like to thank everyone that watches my videos. I'd like to thank everyone that hits that thumbs up, that shares my videos. I really do appreciate it. Those of you that comment, the nasty comments, I ignore. The constructive criticism comments I do take under advisement, and the really nice comments really give me incentive to wake up the next morning and do another video. So thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys soon.